So, where did we leave off at? Okay, so let's get back into story time with Sheena. Okay, so let's see. We left off at treatment. Okay, this is the first treatment center, and this is about realizing realizing that there was a lot that needed to be solved. So, I love mysteries. I love puzzles. I love um, escape rooms. I've always loved, um, puzzle games. I love Sudoku. You know, I love, uh, I remember back in junior high, my math teacher, he was such an awesome teacher. He made math fun. He had these word games, and they were problem solvers that you had to match different things with each person. So you were given a sentence and you had to use that sentence as a clue to be able to decipher who had what name and what item went with them and what they looked like or whatever it may be. You know, I forget what they were called, but I used to have them whenever I was um, whenever I was teaching, and I used to give them out as extra credit for anybody that wanted to get extra credit. So, but that's besides the point. The point of the matter was the fact that I realized after talking to my parents and not having all the information, but it was there. I knew the information was there. I could feel it. I could feel that there were a lot of things that were somewhere in the filing cabinet of my mind because that's every single thing we have ever witnessed, everything we have ever um, experienced, sight, smells, whatever it may be, it gets cataloged in our minds. And it's it's there. Our brains are so interesting. They're so fascinating. They're there, but it takes something to remind us of it, you know? Like certain smells will just take you right back. A certain perfume, a certain the smell of smoke reminds me of my grandfather instantly. Um, Lots of different things, so many different things, but um, the memories are there. But we have a very good job at protecting ourselves. Our brains are so good at protecting ourselves that they shove it down, put it aside, file it away. Okay, it's there. It's filed away. It just you have to do something to get it to come back out. Now, I knew that the memories were there, and I knew there was a lot of stuff that I hadn't figured out yet. But I knew that I could. See, when you get sober for the first time, and I mean sober, dead sober, um, all these memories, like just memories and feelings just come flooding back all at once. They just, they're all there. It's like, um, oh, it's like a dot to dot, but without the numbers. You don't quite know what goes with what and how to connect what, but they're all just out there. It's just like there. It's just like everything's all over and it's all a jumbled mess. And so you're kind of having to like, it's like another way to explain it is say you have a giant jewelry box of like necklaces and bracelets and all these things, and it gets all shooken up. Well, now you gotta go in and you gotta start detangling everything, but you can't untangle it by just like pulling every little thing out because that's gonna break stuff. It's going to ruin things. So you have to go in and you have to like find the pieces that match and like kind of like slowly work them out. And you have to slowly kind of like take them out piece by piece and then kind of set them aside. And so that is like the memories in your mind because some memories are really, 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 really traumatic and severe. And so they affect your body differently than simple memories, you know. Certain memories do not, because like our minds are just replaying images of things that happened in the past. Our brain does not actually understand that this is a memory. It's not happening right now. Like that, it's a memory. But our body is like, oh, this is right now happening. And so therefore, your body will trick, or your mind will trick your body into thinking that it's going on in this moment right now. So you will automatically, your nervous system automatically kicks into high gear and just hits any of the different like um responses, the fight, flight, freeze, fawn, um fib, all of them. I've done a video if you want to have a further, you know, understanding of like all these different ones because there's so many different ones that you can go through like freeze and fib in a millisecond. You can, you know, do um, multiple different ones depending on different situations. So, like the more severe ones have different responses. And so, with that, memories will have different like gauges of reactions that you'll have with them. Okay. So, now that we're all like in this understanding, so I'm in treatment and I've got, you know, memories popping off like fireworks on the 4th of July kind of stuff, which was actually really ironic and symbolic in the same way because it was during the 4th of July weekend. So, I was there during that point in time. So that's funny. But, so I started to get the memories, but I didn't have concrete ones because remember when you have very traumatic memories, your brain is protecting you. It's doing everything in its power to protect you from the memories. So you will find anything else but that thing to focus on. Well, if you're in treatment, you got to actually sit there and deal with it. So in treatment, I realized that, you know, there were some people there that, okay, so during this time, whenever I'm starting to get these memories back and they're working with me through them and everything like that, there was at one point where the psychologists, they didn't, I mean, some psychologists there were there to help. Like they were the bleeding hearts that wanted to help. Other ones had the emotional burnout and really didn't care. And I think some of them too were just plain they enjoyed, you know, they were narcissistic in the fact that they got a thrill out of like, you know, manipulating people and stuff like that. But, you know, whatever. So at one point when I was talking to one of the psychologists, I made a comment about how it seems I was right about my old roommate. And he made a comment about, um, I don't remember what the comment was, but he made a comment about it. And I don't even remember how the whole thing went, but I remember at that point, I was able to finally speak up and say, I never got a chance to actually defend myself. And when I said that, the look he gave me was like, I guess you're right, kind of thing. And so that in there really was giving me an idea of the type of people that work within this facility. So, while let me go back and like kind of explain a little bit about myself in the aspect of how I watch people. I people watch. I test people because I mean, why wouldn't I? I grew up in a home where I wasn't safe, and so therefore I always was testing people to gauge what kind of person they were and how they handled situations and whether they were someone that had my back or whether they were someone that I couldn't trust or if they were, just not a good person. I test them. I feel like this is very valid in life right now because I feel like, you know, God tests us to see if we're ready for new, levels and stuff like that. Which, I mean, if we want to get really absolutely 100% technical, we are testing ourselves to see if, we are ready for the next level. We are always testing ourselves. It's, the God in us that is testing. But, I mean, levels. So with that whole thing, I test other people, and so I'm realizing that a lot of these people, and this is also something that like I was doing this all subconsciously. I didn't know for the longest time. It took me a long time to break it down and really like I did a lot of self-evaluation and I was analyzing and breaking things down with myself a lot. But um so I was testing the people there and I realized that so my therapist was the bleeding heart, which I really appreciate with her because she was not, as a first therapist, she was not pushing me too hard and she was not too cold. She was actually very warm and kind. And so that helped a lot with me being able to feel a little bit safe with her and opening up. Um, but the thing I realized was that she also, her older sister was controlling and manipulative and um, treated her like crap. And she sat there making excuses for her sister, her older sister, trying to convince other people, but really mostly herself, that she was a good person. She's a good person, and really she wasn't. She was a pick me. Because the guys there, she would bend over backwards and let them get away with anything. But the bully women, the mean girls women, and when I say mean girls women, I mean like the just my old roommate women. Um, she would let them get away with whatever. But if she saw you as weak or someone she could push around or get a reaction out of that would, feed her ego, she would lock in on you and just harass the crap out of you. But because of her title, she could get away with it. So, I'm just saying, like, this was a commonality And so I watch. I I'm very observant, hyper vigilant, if you want to put it that way. I'm always watching and listening to every tiny little detail, whether it's inflection in your voice, word choice in your voice. It's what makes me a great reader is the fact that, I know I was taught by my grandmother, about reading and how you have to be dramatic with it and how you have to really like act it out, more or less. And so, if you listen, you can hear very carefully what people really mean or how they think or, just all of this. It's the curve of their mouth, the look in their eyes, the body language, whatever it may be, I'm always watching. Not saying anything because I'm collecting as much data as possible. And it sounds like robotic when I say that, but that's the only way that I can put it is that I'm collecting enough data to make a statistical analysis assumption on what your medium level is, what your neutral state is, you know, um, what triggers you, what is something that uh what you're really like, because everybody puts, and this was something that they taught us, and I already knew this part, but I didn't realize that it was actually normal outside of my home. But um they told us in treatment that assume that 50% of what anybody says is a lie. Now, what I mean by that is like 50% is either over exaggeration or under exaggeration. So over exaggeration is usually narcissistic and people are, trying to sound better than, and so they want to lessen what they've done to people to try and make them sound like a good person. Okay? So they're going to go out of their way to tell a story that makes them seem really cool. Like my ex-husband was really good at over exaggerating a lot of things, like saying he went to Alabama University and all of this stuff, when he never went to Alabama University. He went to the community college in Alabama for a very short time. But he was great at telling the story that he went there and that he went to school and like all of this stuff. He was really good at over exaggerating and making himself sound better than what he was. And also really great at over exaggerating and making other people sound worse, aka me, than what they really were. So I'm just saying. And then but he wasn't 50%. He was like at least 90% lying. But um then there's the other people that are empathic and people that care too much. Because of the fact that they carry so much shame and guilt, they will under tell things because of the fact that there is so much shame and guilt that they're so afraid of what other people think that they won't like share everything. It's one of those things that they will like share as much as they can, but they're afraid that if they overshare too much, then other people are going to judge them. So 50% is like the baseline, which is actually pretty decent. I mean, that's fair. I was an under exaggerator. Like I was someone that like, oh, it's not that bad. The house is on fire. Everything is burning down. What are you talking about? It's not that bad. Like, come on now. But this is why I'm at where I'm at now, where I'm just, here you go. So I'm in this treatment center and I'm realizing that this place isn't safe. There are some like people there's some people that are good people, but during the point in time that I needed people to step up to like, speak up for me, especially in a state where like I was being harassed or that like once it finally came out, all the things that were said to me by one of the guys, there was like no accountability at all whatsoever. Yet there was a witch hunt for me. Yet the sexual harassment was just like swept under the rug. And so I was just like, okay, yeah, no, I don't trust these people. So I'm going to go ahead and do what I need to get done here, figure out my shit, be careful what all I share here. Um, and, you know, hit the next round. Um, at this point in time, I'm having to fight, um, you know, for at least, you know, in court for my kids. At this point, um, there are memories that are starting to come back about my ex-husband. And I wasn't 100% sure about what I believed he did to our kids. At the time, I was told to report it. So I did. Called DCFS. But again, I sound like the crazy ex-wife that is just saying random shit to try and make him look bad when right now he looks like an absolute saint. Because again, the in the drug world, in the addiction recovery world, alcohol is not that big of a deal for addiction wise. Like you are ranked in different tiers based on your addiction. Now, why I say this is because of the fact that I am not sure if I even talked about this in the last video, but I'm just going to say it again if I didn't. Um, and bear with me if I already did. Uh, one of the guys, when we were going around and we were talking about all of this, and he kept his distance from everybody because he felt like he was better than. Um, and it eventually came out that he thought that he was better than a lot of us because he never shot up heroin. He never put a needle in his arm. Everybody, I know so many people that have had trauma and their thing was like, well, at least I didn't do drugs. Well, at least I didn't go down that path. Well, at least I didn't sleep around. Well, at least like it's like this we 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 feed ourselves these lies to try and make ourselves feel better than other people for the reason that I don't know for everybody else, but it's like that comforting little like, oh, well, at least I didn't do that. But you're still stuck in some kind of addiction in some way, sort of form, still suppressing the pain and the memories. And that's your coping mechanism is by using that line, that belief that you're better because you didn't go that route, but your route is still harming you. It's still not helping you. So it's one of those things that in the hierarchy and everything like that, he eventually it came out that he felt like he was better than. So the same guy, I remember whenever I was still trying to still trying to get my memories. At one point, he made the comment, he's like, I don't understand why you can't just go through. There's a saying like, there's a saying out there saying, like, you can't go under, you can't go around, you can't go over, you've got to go through. It's talking about how you have to face the trauma head on. Like, it's one of those things that you can't bury it. You can't escape it. You got to face it. And as scary as it may be, it's for the best. It's like the only option. I use the reference, be the buffalo. Be like the buffalo. How when there is a storm, a herd of buffalo, instead of trying to outrun the storm and get away from it, they will go in together as a group and just drive through the storm because they know that's the quickest way through the storm. They don't go and hide and find a spot to hunker down. They just run right through the son of a bitch. So be like the buffalo. Just go full force through it. Sometimes some of the memories are not full force. Sometimes you kind of got to walk your way through and maybe, take your time because some of them are pretty deep and scary. And sometimes you need a guide. Hi, that's me. Um, but the thing about it is that you can't outrun it. So at the time, it didn't dawn on me until a little bit later. So once I finally did my 12 weeks there and, learned a lot of things about myself and about what was going on, and started realizing that the memories were coming back and that my father was involved and my mother was involved, my family was involved, but I didn't have all of the knowledge yet. It was still very, very sporadic and there was nothing concrete because being a prior police officer, I understand the concept of having evidence. I get it. I understand that whole thing, like accusations and, memories are not 100% accurate, okay? I get it. Like witness statements are never completely 100% fully, again, accurate because of the fact that it's one of those things that they are witnesses. They saw things from their perspective, but whenever you're in a heightened state of some kind of emotion, your vision is limited. Your hearing is limited. Your everything is limited. It's because you've got, all these emotions and chemicals and hormones and all of this stuff going on that affects how you see things and how you perceive things. Okay. So, um, I know that I need more data. I need more knowledge. And so, whenever I was getting ready to leave the treatment center, whenever it was time to go, they came to me and they said, Sheena, like if you don't feel safe being there, then you are more than welcome to, you know, come with us. And so in that moment, I didn't feel safe with them. One, the thing with me is that if you know you messed up, if you know you did something wrong, if you know, like if it's later down the road, if you know that you did something wrong and you don't apologize to me, you don't take accountability, and I mean genuinely, not like, hey, I'm doing this because I have to, because they're forcing me to, like the one guy that was sexually harassing me. He was forced to. He had to look good in front of a group of people after he got called out for his bullshit. He did not feel bad at all. There was no ounce of remorse in his apology, none whatsoever in the tone, in the word choice. He was just going through the motions because he wanted to look good in front of everybody. So, because of that, I went along with it, of course, but did I really accept it? No. Did I know that that guy was not somebody that could even be trusted? Hell yeah. He was someone that I wouldn't be caught down a dark alley with. seriously. Well, probably now, because that he wouldn't make it. Let's just put it that way. He would be regretting life choices in that moment, but that's neither here nor there. But with the fact is that not one of those people ever, not one person, not one adult, one therapist, one, not one um, supervisor, anybody, no, nobody, not one person apologized. And do I expect to ever get, an apology? No, I don't. I don't ever expect it. But it is something that gauges on people and who to trust and who not to trust. It's part of the whole testing system. It helps me narrow down the people to keep in my life and who to avoid, more or less. So if you're someone that cannot actually humble yourself and apologize for a choice that you made and was wrong, then I definitely see you as someone that I don't need to be around because of the fact that you cannot be accountable for what you do. And that's how I feel as well. Like I kind of over apologize, not as much anymore, but I would over apologize for things that didn't need an apology for. So, I'm leaving this treatment center and they're like, hey, you can stay with us. If you don't feel safe there, then you can stay with us. Well, first and foremost, I've already done my 12 weeks. I don't know where I'm gonna stay. I have no idea that like after 12 weeks, they got to get rid of you. It's the policy. Depending on like if it's not government funded. And because of the fact that because I lost custody of my kids and I had to work with DCFS, there are only 3 treatment centers that I can go to after that. And when you're in an in-treatment center, you have no access to the outside world. And then there's IOP, which is like outside. Like you still you show up, but it's not like you're not like it's kind of like going to school more or less, where you have to be there from a certain point in the morning to a certain point at the evening. And it's like depending on the range of where you're at in your treatment and what you can prove, you either are there for 5 days a week or 4 or 3 or 2, or depends on how messed up you are, more or less. So I am getting ready to don't you be doing the crazy fingers at me.
Whoa.
Yeah. My son, I swear.
Take that out of context.
It's over here. I swear. You are my son, so you know that you get the crazy.
Son.
So, I decide at this point that I'm gonna go and I'm gonna stay with my family because I mean, let's put it this way. I don't know what I know that these group of people are not very trustworthy. I know that if I go with them, that none of them really had my back in the entire 12 weeks that I was there. So I have 2 choices. I have 2 paths I can go down. And after analyzing the statistical data that I had based off of everything that I gathered for those 12 weeks, because it's limited, I know, not very long. I usually try and do at least 3 months worth of data to try and figure out, because,
Jarvis wasn't there.
Shut up. So I try to gather at least 3 months worth of data to really have a baseline of people. So, but after 12 weeks, I knew that I'd be starting all over with brand new people, and there aren't really any people that I can rely on in that area. So, do I, there are two paths I can go down, and these are two different timelines that I can travel. First timeline is to go and stay somewhere on their living in their sober living, I think is what it was that they had, which I have no income at this point in time, so I have no way of really paying for it. And on top of that, I don't know how I would pay for it in any way, sort, or form. And then second one is to go with my family. So I decide I'm going to go with my family because, of course, let's be real. I already know this crazy. I already know that they're not going to do anything really that is going to catch much attention because at this point, their guards are already up because they're aware that the memories are coming back. So now they're freaking out and they want as much knowledge, just like I want as much knowledge as I can get because I'm also watching these guys, because I am also trying to piece together little bits and pieces of data. So the only way I'm going to get more data on what happened to me and who did it, and a giant freaking clue game nonetheless. Like that's pretty much what this was, is so and so did it in this room with this weapon. Like that's really the game that I was playing at this point in time. So I needed to gather as much information as possible, and I wasn't going to get that living in the sober living with this other treatment center. I had to go deep in the depths of hell and face the demons to really uncover more information. So, what did I do? I told my parents that I was not going to be living in their house, that I was going to be living back in the house that belonged to my grandparents, that my younger brother was now living in, rent free. This is the boy, the man child that has no job. He was, and I say was because I have no idea as if this is happening still, but
He was getting better.
he was drinking and smoking weed and just partying up like it was a trap house. Like seriously, that's the best way to describe it. It was disgusting and it was absolutely gross. He didn't take care of it. All he did was sleep, eat, and do drugs and video games. I'm sorry. You're right. He did video game. And so that's all he did. And he had all of his food purchased for him. He had anything that he needed, gas money, whatever, it was given to him. Anytime he wanted to go to a concert, anytime he wanted to go out and party or go out and do stuff, he had the money. And so, ooh, it got fuzzy on me. Hold on. There we go. Okay. So he had all of that. Okay. So this house that he's living in was the house again that was supposed to be willed to me by my grandfather. Funny enough, during the whole time, that I was that I was going through my drug addiction and that I went into treatment and all of that stuff, somehow it magically got put in my uncle's possession. So, Uncle Stan Pratt, or William Pratt, if you want to get like really technical. Because I'm sorry, here pedophiles don't get an anonymity. Sorry. Not sorry. You don't get protection. Why would you? And so it's under his name now. And this house and everything like that is now going to be where I stay while trying to stay sober. Yeah, yeah, the challenge was accepted. So while I'm living there, I'm in the middle of trying to get into one of the 3 treatment centers, but it's absolutely insane. I mean, it is insane how they the way treatment centers are run, it's so hard to get in them, but they'll kick you out so quickly. And then you are left on your own to deal with whatever. Like you're pretty much like, good luck. We're on a cruise ship and we're just going to throw you off and say, I hope you survive. That's actually what I got told by one of the people that whenever I first one of the first people I met in AA. And it was so crazy because of the fact that um here I am, first time ever out of treatment, and I'm white knuckling it. Like, so at this point in time, I'm on Vivitrol, which is an amazing drug for anybody that I highly recommend this drug for anybody that struggles with alcohol and opioid addiction, because it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. In the aspect of like it would curb the cravings, and it was one of those things that if you even had anything, it would not it would not affect you. Like you couldn't get high or you couldn't get drunk or you couldn't get anything from it. So it honestly made me think like, okay, well, if I'm not going to feel it, then what's the point in even trying it? Nothing. So, it was amazing, and it lasts, I don't remember like off the top of my head, a few months, I think a month, if not a couple of months, like 3 months or something like that. So it's amazing. Um, so if you're freshly off of any addiction, I don't know if there's new drugs on the market. Like it's been a while, like 5 years. So let me know. Um, but I recommend that one because of the fact that it was absolutely it was so helpful in being able to keep me sane during this point in time, because how can I? I'm living in a house that my younger brother is got like a giant bottle of whiskey that he's just drinking from, because like that's how bad it was for him. He was drinking whiskey straight from the bottle and Gatorade with a shot. Like that's how. But I like, no judgment here because I was that way with vodka and water, in all honesty. Um, you know, no judgment here. That's how bad I was. But they're sitting they're in the room across the hall from mine. He's having friends over constantly, and they're out there smoking pot and they're drinking and doing mushrooms and all these other things here and there. And so, like, they're definitely trying to get me to break. They want me to relapse. Like, they don't want me successful. And that's the thing is, this is one of the things that you have to understand in life is that there are going to be people that are going to try and get you to go back. There are going to be people that are going to try to get you to relapse. There are going to be people, and it doesn't even mean like drugs relapse. They're going to try and get you to relapse into an old version of you in any way, sort, or form, whether it's drug addiction, whether it's working out, whether it's, eating healthy, doesn't matter. There's always going to be someone trying to get you to, and you're going to have moments where you yourself are going to try and convince yourself to relapse. It's just how it goes. But I'm here in this house. I have no support system whatsoever. And I'm white knuckling it because I'm just like, I don't know what to do. Like, how do I actually, make it through this? And that's when I met AA, which was very funny how I got recommended to go to one AA that I had been to only one time before. And the one time before was with my ex-husband years and years and years and years and years ago. Um, we were told that we should go to AA, and we went in one day and we got the first chip and we left and we were like, AA's for quitters, the motto, of course. And we ran up out of there and never went back. So I go back to this exact same place. And it was so funny, the crazy that I met. Like, it's right on the date of me being 3 months sober. 3 months. And they do a chip on that because they celebrate, every like 3 months to kind of really like help you feel successful because it's hard. And so like I remember it was so funny because like I get called up and there was a guy that was from the same treatment center that I was at, and we were just kind of like BSing for a minute there, and um they were like, um who's at their 3 months, come get a chip, and everybody like got a chance to say something. When I got up to the podium, this is like my first time speaking up at a podium sober. Um, I was so nervous, and it's so hard to get up there on those podiums and speak in front of like a group of people because you in your mind you're just like, all these people are judging me, and they're gonna think what I have to say is stupid. And this really was like my prep work for, being on here, honestly. And I got up there and I remember how stupid I sounded, but I was so honest. I was straight up honest. They were like, "How have you stayed sober for, 3 months?" And I was like, I was in treatment for 3 months. I just got out of treatment. I have nothing, I have no support. I don't know what I'm doing. I am white knuckling right now. I am white knuckling it. And I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Just yelled this in front of all of these people. And it was so funny because like the looks of, because like most people get up there and just are all, oh, I'm doing meditation and I'm doing all of this, and they're just BSing the shit. They're just, they're sugarcoating it and they're making it sound like, oh, perfect and wonderful. And I get up there and I'm like, motherfuckers, I'm dying right now. What are you talking about? I'm struggling here. And then I go and I sit back down and I feel like the biggest freaking idiot. I feel like the biggest idiot because I'm like, here I am. I said all of this and I sound like a loser. And I'm just like, no, no, I'm just going to sit here. And people are like looking at me like, oh my gosh, she's crazy. Like they had to have. So at this point in time, I'm like, okay, I'm just done here. Like, once this is over, I'm just leaving. And I remember her. I remember her because she's an angel. She's an angel. Marnie gets up there and she starts speaking, and she's talking directly to me. She's looking at me and she's speaking directly to me and saying, I understand where you are. And she kind of goes into her little bit of a story, and she understood. Like, she said things that only someone that has been through what I've been through could truly understand. And it was like a breath of fresh air. It was so beautiful to finally be seen in a way that I couldn't explain. And she was such a sweetheart. Her fiance then, but now husband, Bob, were there traveling. I think they're from Vegas. I can't remember. I'd have to double check that one because it's been a while. But they were traveling and they were going to different AAs because Bob is a speaker. Bob is a very well-known speaker in the AA community. Like, he's a legend in AA. I had no idea because I don't, this is my first like real AA meeting, you know? It's like, okay, who are you? Um, so she gets my information and she tells me that she would like to invite me to an event that they were going to later that night. It was a speaking event that he was going to be at. And it was at, there's an AA camp out area here in more of northern Utah area. And he was going to be speaking there. And she wanted to bring me along. And I was like, I don't know. Do I do this? What do I do? Like, I was so confused. I wasn't sure what I could do. And so I was still talking to E, the guy that was in his treatment center still, because he was in for longer, because he needed to be in longer because he has lots of prior knowledge of treatment. And so he needed more refined help because, you know, um, he could BS his way out, more or less. And so he told me, he was like, you should go. He's like, you really should go. Like, I don't know who these people are, but take a chance. And I was like, okay. I mean, what have I got to lose? And so I went on this night trip, and it was absolutely insane. I we went up to the mountains and we met with all these people, and I'm still fresh out of treatment, and I am still anxious, like I'll get out. Like, I'm terrified of people. I'm like, I've got my mind is racing because I'm thinking, like, what do I say to these people? What do these people think about me? You know, like that chatter that just won't shut up, that voice that just keeps going. And these people are going to think you're weird. These people are going to think you're stupid. These people are going to think that you're such an idiot. Like, oh my gosh, all these voices, those voices, man. Those voices are loud sometimes, right? So we get there and there's this huge bonfire. And I pretty much got like baptized more or less into AA in that bonfire and accepted. And, you know, I discovered AA for the first time in that one. Little did I know that there's so much history with anonymous groups. Like, there's hierarchies within those as well. That there certain ones are very specific about the way that you are with how you what you talk about and stuff like that. So she decides to go ahead and, introduce me to their group of people that are, you know, a big group of people that are like old timers of AA. And this is what I think bothers me the most is that I don't put people on pedestals. I have before, don't get me wrong. I've learned from my mistakes on like my biggest problem was that I would put guys onto pedestals. And so in relationships, I would put men that I was dating onto a pedestal of like how amazing they were whenever they really did not need to be there. Like there was more or less I should have been on the pedestal. Just saying. Just saying. Just saying. But I did that because of a wound within me. That father wound, that abandonment wound. I would put people on pedestals. So, but when it came to like celebrities, like people that are famous, people that that are well known, I don't really care. Like I don't people are people. They're regular human beings. Just because they're known for something doesn't mean that you should like suck up to them and all of that. But I need to take a break here because I need to go get my daughter because it's time to go pick her up. So I'm going to pause this and I'll BRB really quickly. Okay? And we're back. Okay. So, just got back with Emma. So, okay. First I want to like throw this out there. I don't name drop to be like, ooh, I know this person. Look how cool I am. I mean, I haven't talked to them in years. I I talked to her. Um, I never did really talk to Bob all that much, but Marnie I did talk to. But she only, hooked me up with a group to join for AA, to get a sponsor and all that stuff, to get started in AA. And so, um, why I bring them up is because of the fact that, and why I talk about like their status in the community, because it plays a factor in later down the road in the way that things kind of went with my first sponsor. So, um, because of their, you know, status and everything like that, sometimes people treat them like celebrities. And so when you have people that idealize other people, they will um, sometimes do whatever it takes to get close to them, more or less, or to be seen a certain way in like a positive light to those people. And so this is just something that I've learned over time. And also, again, I just never, like, maybe as a kid, I had a few crushes on some celebrities, but I never really, you know, was hyper fixated on celebrities. I don't get me wrong, I grew up on like Backstreet Boys and NSYNC and Eminem and all of like those boy bands and groups and like oh my gosh, like that kind of thing. But as I grew up, I started to realize like they're regular human beings that just a lot of people know who they are. They're famous for something, you know. And not all of them are actually good people. Stuff I learned from my uncle, who was again a caterer for movie sets out in Hollywood, out in California. And so he would come back with all these stories of different actors and actresses that he would encounter and tell us about that they're really not that good of a person, or they play a horrible person, but in real life they're actually very kind and considerate and all of that stuff. So it really gave me the understanding that, what we see with Hollywood is not the truth. And even my own upbringing of my own family, what you witness may not be what is actually real. Um, we played pretend and acted like we were a loving, caring family for a very long time. That was part of the roles that we were meant to play, that we had to play. We had to look and play the part. Like, so good that I really did think it for a while. Like, I think we all did. I don't know. Maybe I was the only one that actually kind of like was delusional enough to think that maybe we were. But um it a lot of people are really good at acting. That's why, like I say, to gather as much data for 3 months, because usually about the third month is whenever masks will start to slip and you will start to see the real underneath the mask of what people portray. So that's why I say 3 months is like ideal. Um, Even more, like longer, you can get a lot more. But 3 months is about how long people can hold a facade for the average person. Other people, like psychopaths and sociopaths and all of those people, that's a little bit tougher because they're really good. They're really good. Um, they're just on a different level. But so why I bring them up is more along the lines to say, like, these people brought me in and I got a sponsor, and I was like rose-colored glasses to AA, like, oh my gosh, this is the best thing ever, and like this is what's gonna save me. And Lord, I swear, the naivety of the old me was insane, insane. But it was a good tool. Do not get me wrong. It was a good tool. It was a tool that I needed in that time, because at that point, I had no direction. I had no treatment center. I was living in a trap house, being, you know, propositioned with like the possibility of all these different kinds of drugs and alcohol. Um, and nobody cared. Nobody wanted me sober. So, I needed help, and thank God and thank myself with my manifestation powers in the fact that I was able to get what I have needed, especially in that time of crisis. So I got to be introduced to this whole group and get a sponsor and start the whole process. Um, and the group that I was introduced to was a very old time AA group. And this old time AA group, they are very old fashioned. And when I mean old fashioned, I mean like you are supposed to strictly just talk about alcohol. That's it. You don't bring up other stuff. Like, they're better, like, again, hierarchies that we create to make us feel better about our addictions and ourselves, so that we don't have to feel shame or, guilt and, all of these things for our choices. So, um, yeah. So at this point in time, though, I'm still trying to get into one of the 3 treatment centers, because here in Utah, when you are working with DCFS, you have 3 options. You have the Odyssey House, which I hear is like boot camp. It's brutal. Um, Hindsight, I probably would have lasted longer in that one, but I am not a hardcore criminal. And I was already feeling like a fish out of water in these like different treatment centers that I was going to. Because here I am driving a Mercedes-Benz GLK 350. And yes, I had that car. I bought it. Um, I loved that car because it was like driving a cloud. But the parts and labor for that car were astronomical. Like why? Why? Um, Insane. But such a cute little car, such a cute little SUV. Loved it. But um I'm driving that because of course with my money that I bought um that we when we sold the house, I went out and bought this car because Matt, the guy that I was dating before, the one that um that sold me out and everything like that and framed me for the drugs. He was the one that liked that car and told me about it. And so I went and bought it with that money outright. And so, um, which I don't regret because that was a cute little car. Like that car lasted. It lasted. And but that's also because I take care of my stuff. So, um, yeah, so I'm driving around in this thing and I don't really fit in. I'm brand new to this whole entire recovery scene. So I am so green, it's not even funny. And so I have Odyssey House, and then there's Phoenix Recovery, or I don't remember the name of it right now, but it's a program that has multiple locations. And then there's House of Hope. So 3 places. I have the guy that I was dating at the time, E, he was the one that had connections to the Phoenix Recovery. And so he was able to pull some strings and get me into that program. He had friends that worked there that could hook me up with uh, getting me in, but also helping me get into um, drug court, which is a program here in Utah that um, it's very strict, but it's one of those things that they help you stay on the right path of your recovery. And so I'm like, okay, well, if this is like a way to do this, then I'm definitely going to do this. So I get into drug court and I'm in the intake process of Phoenix Recovery and, you know, dating this guy that is like really well known apparently in the recovery field. Um, and so I'm like, oh, well, everything is turning up roses, right? Right, wrong. No, it's not turning up roses. It's not gonna go so well. This is not where the story ends by any means, because realize that we're just getting started still. We're just now really starting to um, touch on a few things. We're just now beginning the whole entire process. And it is intense. It is intense. So, um, yeah, yeah. Let's go ahead and end it here because it's already over an hour. And I'll be back on again to keep continuing with this story because it's just got to come out. Mostly for the fact that so that other people can, relate to it, but also because of the fact that there's always a little bit of like a main point that I'm trying to get across and realize that, you know, there's a lot of things you can do about getting sober. The main thing that I honestly have found in being able to stay sober is working through my traumas and my pain and, facing the darkness. But I get it. It's hard whenever you still struggle with many addictions. And during this point in time, I have some of them under control, but they're not all there. Some of them, like I said, not all of them, because I'm still dating this person that is struggling with his own addictions. And on top of the fact that he is still, I hate even saying it because I feel so bad still about it, but he was still married, even though he told me that they were separated, because I don't know the truth to that extent, to be really honest. I only know what he said. So he says that they're separated and everything like that. And so, all of this going on, I'm still repeating old patterns. I'm still stuck in old cycles. And believe it or not, these old cycles are actually trying to tell me something. These were like the red flags of warning signs of childhood trauma that was trying to tell me where to look. At the point in time, I really wasn't paying much attention. It wasn't until a little bit later on that I kind of was like, wait a minute, this feels like deja vu. Hold on a second. And that's whenever I started piecing things together and really started taking it serious. But we weren't there yet because at this point, I'm still so pink cloud thinking that everything's fine and, I got this. And, I'm thinking, okay, I've got this all figured out. Little did I know, I didn't have shit figured out. And it was just the beginning of a continuous pattern that I was coming back around to until I could break it. And it was a karmic loop. It was a karmic cycle that was never going to end until I ended it. And the only way to end it is to work on me. The only way to get out of the loop is to fix this. So I eventually did, but we're going to get there another day. Tomorrow night, we'll come back and I'll do another video tomorrow night. And, I think I can post every day. We'll see. I don't want to make any promises, but it feels like I think I can. So, it's just a little bit difficult right now with timing wise because we have one laptop between 3 people right now because of the fact that, well, yeah, one laptop broke just recent and the other child, well, we've been kind of sharing it back and forth because her laptops never work because, well, when you have high anxiety, you cause electrical malfunctions and things. And the higher the anxiety, the more electrical current and the more you short circuit things. So yeah, she's got that problem with electronics. They don't seem to last with her, but that's okay. That's, a conversation for another day, because my anger usually is what short circuits electrical things, is extreme anger, and that's later down the line. But yes, I want to say love you all, stay beautiful and stay blessed, because you are both beautiful and you are blessed, because you are. You're here with me. I'm just kidding. I will talk with you later and share some more, and it's kind of nice getting it all out. But you guys have a great night.